A storm is quietly building across two of the world's largest emerging markets, and at the center of it stands Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Today, he embarks on a nearly week-long journey to the United Arab Emirates and South Africa, a trip that insiders say could redefine Canada's economic position on the global stage. But this is more than just diplomacy. It is strategy, it is leverage, and it is a calculated move to secure Canada's future in a world of uncertainty. For decades, Canadian leaders have traveled abroad with promises of trade and investment, yet too often, the results fell short. Carney's trip, however, is being described by senior government officials as unlike anything before. Meetings are meticulously planned, key sectors identified, and potential agreements mapped down to the finest detail. This is Canada not just asking for investment, but actively courting it in a way designed to yield tangible results. The first stop, Abu Dhabi, is more than a ceremonial visit. Canada's Prime Minister will be meeting with UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a moment some are already calling historic. The last Canadian Prime Minister to visit the UAE was Pierre Trudeau, back in 1983, bringing a young Justin Trudeau with him. Today, Carney carries far more than legacy, he carries Canada's future economic growth on his shoulders. Officials reveal that Carney's meetings in Abu Dhabi are focused on expanding bilateral economic partnerships in energy security, critical minerals, artificial intelligence, and advanced technologies. But beyond these sectors lies a broader ambition, to unlock long-term capital investment that can help Canada build major infrastructure and nation-building projects. With more than 150 Canadian companies already operational in the UAE, Carney's goal is to scale these partnerships exponentially. Every handshake, every conversation, every strategic briefing is designed to deepen trust and signal Canada as a reliable, forward-looking partner. While in Abu Dhabi, Carney is also expected to meet with industry leaders and sovereign wealth fund executives. The stakes are high. Canada aims to increase market access for its exporters while ensuring that private capital flows into the projects that matter most at home. Government insiders are clear that Carney is not seeking symbolic agreements, he is pursuing results that can change the trajectory of Canada's economic landscape. But this trip carries risks as well. The Middle East is a region of high-stakes diplomacy, where investment decisions can be influenced by subtle political shifts or global events beyond Canada's control. One wrong move, one miscommunication, could slow investment or create uncertainty for Canadian companies. Carney, however, is known for his meticulous planning. Sources say he has been coordinating months in advance with both Canadian and international teams to ensure every interaction is calculated, every message precise. From the UAE, the journey continues to South Africa, landing in Johannesburg, the country's economic engine. There, Carney will meet with President Cyril Ramaphosa to discuss trade, natural resources, critical minerals, agriculture, and advanced technology sectors. Officials hint at a substantial package in the works, though the details remain closely guarded. Rumors circulate about trade deals involving South African wine and Canadian gas exports, but one thing is certain, Carney intends to leave the continent with concrete commitments that will benefit both nations. This is not just about trade, but about positioning Canada as a trusted partner in regions that are becoming increasingly influential in global markets. South Africa, with its growing infrastructure needs and natural resource wealth, presents an opportunity for Canadian investment and collaboration. Carney's team has reportedly prepared detailed proposals aimed at creating long-term partnerships that could span decades, and the goal is clear: ensure Canadian businesses are front and center when these markets expand. Beyond trade, Carney's presence at the G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg marks a critical moment for Canada. This is his first G20 as Prime Minister and the first G20 held on African soil. With the forum encompassing 85% of the global economy and more than 75% of trade, Carney's agenda is ambitious: to mobilize global private capital, push for clean energy cooperation, sustainable finance, emissions reductions, and disaster response initiatives. The absence of leaders from the US, China, Russia, Mexico, and Argentina means Carney will be operating on a smaller, but no less critical, stage, where every conversation carries weight. Amid this flurry of diplomatic engagement, Carney is also navigating the pressures of global health priorities. The Global Fund replenishment, focused on HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, is underway, and Canada's contributions are under scrutiny. Aid groups are lobbying for a figure that reflects Canada's historical commitment, and Carney is said to be weighing these requests carefully, understanding that leadership on the world stage requires both strategic and ethical consideration. Yet, what sets Carney apart is not just his schedule, but his approach. Where others might rush through meetings, issue statements, or rely on protocol, Carney is leveraging every encounter as a negotiation, subtle, deliberate, and impactful. He is not only building relationships, he is signaling Canada's readiness to act decisively in global markets, to attract capital, and to ensure that domestic growth is backed by strong, reliable international partnerships. Adding to the complexity, Carney's team is reportedly analyzing global commodity trends in real time, evaluating how shifts in oil, gas, and critical minerals markets could impact negotiations in both the UAE and South Africa. Every bilateral discussion is informed by data, and officials say Carney is prepared to adjust his strategy on the fly if circumstances change. The goal is clear: maximize returns for Canada while minimizing risk. As Carney moves from Abu Dhabi to Johannesburg, the pattern is clear: Canada is positioning itself as a nation ready to engage with the world, but on its own terms. Each meeting is calibrated to protect Canadian interests, each discussion designed to unlock opportunities, and each handshake a bridge toward economic growth. For a country navigating global uncertainties, Carney's strategy offers both reassurance and ambition. By the time he returns home, Carney's week-long journey will have covered continents, critical sectors, and some of the most dynamic emerging markets in the world. He will have engaged leaders, executives, and global institutions in ways that could reshape Canada's economic landscape for years to come. The stakes are high, the risks real, and the potential rewards enormous. For Canadians watching, it is more than a diplomatic trip. It is a signal that the government is thinking globally, acting strategically, and positioning the nation for growth even amid uncertainty. And as global eyes turn toward emerging markets, Carney's leadership may well define the next decade of Canada's economic engagement. In the end, this is not just a journey. It is a calculated gamble, one that could transform how Canada attracts investment, engages with key global partners, and strengthens its role on the international stage. And while the outcomes remain to be seen, one thing is certain: Mark Carney is playing for keeps, and the world is watching every move.